Morning guys, Thursday the 25th of February 2021. Alan at Alan's Allotment. A little bit of an update on the pigeons in the stock loft. As you can see, things are a lot calmer in here now, and all of the hens are now finding their way back to the mates and the nest boxes. The frill stencil cock and the Andalusian hen eventually did claim this top nest box where the black cock and the black hen was, and as you can see, they've now claimed their box. So hopefully peace is restored and this will be okay from here on in. The brown hen has brown barless hen has taken to the blue barless cock. Our check hen is with the almond cock. Our brown almond cock, his hen is going up there now. The two indigos, brown spread cock, an almond hen. Our white barred opal cock and the indigo hen. And of course the two milkies also. It transpires that this black hen has laid a second egg. Now, I might leave these for 7 days. It is possible the cock mated with that hen in the box prior to her laying that first egg, and they could potentially be full. We'll leave them for 7 days, then I'll just check them out to see if they are actually filling. However, when I came in, neither of them were sitting on the eggs, because the cock knows it's way too soon for her to have laid. So we'll see how that goes, guys. With the two indigos, we actually caught them on video, that cock mounting that hen inside the nest box, and she hasn't laid yet, but she does look like she's going to lay. So there's every possibility they will both be fertile. So we'll leave those when they do. And as you can see, they're all just having to feed now, guys. That's why a lot of them don't appear to be in the boxes. No other reason other than they're having a feed. Good morning, guys, and a warm welcome to Alan's Allotment. It's Thursday, the 25th of February 2021. Sorry about repeating myself, but just in case you missed the start, guys. Right, so a couple of things I want to get out there to you guys today. So we're really only on sort of day 4 of pairing the pigeons up, and already, and thankfully, this went a lot better than we expected. It didn't go entirely according to plan, but it went better than we expected. All of the birds on day 4 appear to be settled in the correct boxes and now getting on with the breeding cycle. With the exception, as I say, we had a bit of a kerfuffle the video before the last one, where the white bar cock had decided they were taking the black cock's box, and that was it. But the black cock and the black hen have now settled in their box, and so far it looks as though that's going to be a workable solution. So that's all pretty good. I also want to say thanks again for all your comments on the channel. I really do appreciate it, and these comments benefit other people who are subscribed or other people watching the videos. And I want to thank Dave for his comment. David, in the comments on not the last video but the video before, I'd made a suggestion, whereas if you have your nest boxes, say 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to keep all your other birds locked in a box and let this bottom pair out until they start going back and forwards into the box. Once they know where the box is, go to the top corner and open this one and let the birds go in and out. And then the middle one, or the other top corner, this corner, and work your way through the boxes. And yes, this system does work. So thanks for highlighting that, Dave. I really appreciate it. That system does work. However, I used to do it many years ago myself. But me personally, what I found is when you've let the first pair of birds out and they're out on the floor chasing each other around until they find where the box is, etc., all the other birds in the boxes are going crazy, putting their heads through, trying to get out to be out with the other pigeons. And that's just something I don't like. There isn't any harm in it, and the birds don't come to any harm, but it's just something I don't particularly like to see. Now, there's another caveat here. If you've got your birds in your back garden and you can spend all day with the birds, then that system really does work. And it's a good tip. Thanks again, Dave. I really do appreciate it. It is a good tip. And it will work for some people. And as I say, I used to do it myself years and years and years ago, but I decided for some mad reason, unbeknown reason to me only, that I didn't like to see the birds constantly fighting and trying to get out of the boxes whilst these other birds were learning the boxes. But yes, it does cut down the hardship of birds swapping boxes mid-flight. It would certainly have cured that toy stencil and Andalusian hen of doing that. So there are advantages to doing it that way. But I've found, although you get the bit of chaos in the interim, the birds do settle down within 3 or 4 days, and this year's been exceptional. By the second day of them being free in the loft, all of the hens had found the boxes and we'd had one box swap, and that was it. So the time versus going in and letting one pair out, leaving them for a little while, going back out, let the next pair out, lock them back in the box, and the time versus the time factor alone for me doesn't work anymore. I have other things I need to be getting on with. With the garden, the growing area, that's fast approaching, so I've got a lot of other things I need to do. And for me, the system I use does work, but expect a little bit of a bit of kerfuffle, guys. It will happen. So as long as you don't mind that, both systems work equally well. As I say, we've just been in the loft this morning. This is day 4 now, and everything is peace, calm and quiet in that loft. And what I'm going to do today, or I meant to mention in an earlier video, we kept the aviary closed off until all of the birds know where the nest boxes are, first of all, which is they do now. And now what we will do is we'll open up the aviary and we'll let the birds get out into the aviary for a bit more fresh air, a bit more room, and more importantly, they can go out there as a bit of privacy and mate. Because if they're all in close quarters in the shed, when the males try to mount the females, the other males run at them and knock them off. And that's when you start to end up with nests full of clear eggs. So there's method around this. Because the birds don't fly out, if the birds were flying out, they would go fly and they would mate on the rooftop and in the garden bit and then come back in. But what we do is we open it up, and what birds do, they'll sneak out in pairs and they'll mate in the aviary. And that way we can more or less guarantee the eggs are going to be full. We won't get 100% because it never happens, but we can pretty much expect 90% of our eggs are going to be full and hatch. And that's the reason why I do that. So when I go back out there after this cup of coffee, we'll be opening that let and letting the birds go out into the aviary as well. 1, it gives them more room, and 2, they can sneak out there and mate. And they'll take it in turns more or less for to do this. Sometimes you'll have a couple of pairs out there, but they'll both be so interested in mating they won't knock each other off. And it just helps. Another tip I want to mention is, especially to novices and beginners, is if you have them in an aviary like this and you don't fly your birds out, always have an aviary on the front of your loft. What you can do then, once the eggs are being laid, is ideally you want to make sure the birds get a bath at least twice during the incubation period, which is 17 to 18 days. The birds will go in with wet feathers and they will moisten down the eggs, and that keeps the humidity right. And it will give you a better hatchability. If they don't get a bath in those 18 days and you get a dry spell, it's highly unlikely that the eggs will hatch. They'll die in the shell. So just another little tip, guys, for what it's worth. Again, I'm not trying to teach people how to suck eggs. This isn't aimed at racing pigeon fanciers or anything like that. It's aimed at novices. It's just a little tip to be aware of. The next thing I want to just say is I have a lot of people who subscribe from the Philippines and the USA. And I just want to clear up something, because I keep getting asked this question time and time again. I do appreciate that you would like some of these birds that I have. Unfortunately, due to us leaving the EU and the astronomical charges for importation and exportation taxes, which has to be met by the buyer anyways, I no longer ship out to the USA, guys. I'm sorry. It's just being kept in the UK. It's even difficult now, especially with COVID and us leaving the EU, just trying to get birds to go to Ireland or Belgium or Holland. That's bad enough in itself. If birds were going to the USA, they have to go from here to Holland or Germany in quarantine anyways for a month. And the buyer has to pay all of those fees for the quarantine. And then they've got to pay for the flight from Germany or Holland over to America. And the fees far outweigh the cost of the value of the birds. So, unfortunately, I won't be shipping out to foreign countries anymore. All the birds will only be sold in the UK. So I apologise in advance, but that's just the way I'm going to do things from here on in. The birds will only be available in the UK, guys. So please make sure, if you're watching these videos and you want to order birds off the website, which I always leave in a link down below, that you are in the UK before you purchase the birds. Right, guys, so I've babbled on long enough. The sun is shining today. I've got a lot to do. I still need to get done. I'm contented the birds are happy. We've fed and watered those. We'll open the let the birds come out in the aviary, and we'll let them get on with it. And I can get on with something else. The sun is shining today. It's still a bit chilly, but the sun is shining. And I'm seriously contemplating, because tomorrow is supposed to be going to be okay weather-wise as well. I'm seriously contemplating getting up on that 24-foot loft and taking off those 8 or 9 corrugated sheets and getting the plastic on there while the sun is shining, which will soften the plastic. And the wind isn't too strong today, so I'm thinking I'm going to use today as an ideal day to get up on that roof and get that plastic coated and then get the sheets back down before the weather turns again. Just to protect those 3 empty sections that we have in there. I don't want them getting any worse than they are. As I said, we've got a couple of stains on the roofs where the rain has been finding. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that all of this is due to a rogue seagull and crows up here that we have. We have some rogue seagulls and crows that like to peck plastic for whatever reason. Now, when I first built the 24-foot loft, that loft was covered with plastic only. And for 3 years, it never let a drop of water in. Then all of a sudden, I went in one day when it was raining, and the rain was pouring through the roof, and I couldn't understand why. And me and my son Tony ended up spending the entire day in pouring down rain, so bad that our Wellingtons had filled to the brim. That's how bad it was coming down like steroids. But what had happened, the crows or gulls had got on the roof and suddenly decided to start pecking holes in the plastic and tearing the plastic back, and the rain was absolutely pouring through those sheds, the whole 24 foot. Hence the reason why we had to put the sheets on. Now, my son had a few tin sheets laying about his allotment, but not enough to do it. And I ended up having to fly down to the hardware store and purchase 8 or 9 of these clear perspex sheets, because that's all they had. And we managed to get the roof covered in pouring down rain. It was horrendous that day, it really was. And then it took nearly 12 months for the shed to dry out fully. And here we go again. Where those holes are still in the plastic, I didn't have any plastic to re-plastic coat it either, and nor was it the weather to do so. But one half of it appears that the rain is still finding its way under the sheets and in through those holes where the gulls ripped the holes in. So I need to pull all those sheets back half of the loft, at least 12 foot of it. Re-plastic coat again over the top of that, and then put the sheets back, and that should seal it for good, guys. So that's going to be quite a full day doing this on my own. So I'm just going to pop on and get cracking, and hopefully we can get this sorted. Now the beauty about this is all of the tin sheets and all the plastic sheets are put on with screws. Screwdriver, and we can have them off in a few minutes. Well, half an hour. Yep. And just watch I don't slip off the back or the front or go through the shed roof. You'll soon know, guys, if you don't see any further video. Right, guys, I'm going to crack on. Stop babbling. I've really been rambling now. I'll see you later, guys. Right, guys, I'm back in the shed. It's 1 PM in the afternoon. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. A couple of things when I got up on the roof. First of all, the sun is shining and it's absolutely beautiful. The weather in the UK up here, I'm up in northwest Cumbria, near the Lake District, to give you an idea of my location. So I'm about 40 miles north of the Lake District, which is beautiful countryside. Now, the weather is just so changeable, though. You can have 4 seasons in a day, but at the moment, it's like a beautiful spring day, it really is. So I've been up on the roof, and as soon as I got up there, it became quite apparent of the reason why the sheds are leaking in. As I said earlier, we had some tin sheets which weren't really the right size or anything. They were just brought from my son's allotment to do the repair in the first place, and we had to make it like a bit of a patchwork quilt, and then we used some corrugated sheeting. Now the shed is just over 8 foot, or just over 8 foot wide, with the overhangs front and back, and the perspex sheets were only 8 foot, which meant we had about a surplus of about a foot we need to make up. And what we've done is we cut some bits of tin, strips of tin, and slid them under and overlaid the perspex sheet over the tail ends. But what's happened is either kids or adults, we don't know up here, they're hooligans. Kids or someone have been throwing bricks onto the top of the roof and smashed some of the perspex sheets, which will leave me with a bit of a dilemma because I don't have any perspex sheets left. But what I do have is I have some scrap offcuts of tin sheet still left down backside of the polytunnel, and I'm sure I'm going to have enough to be able to patch this up pretty good. But the fact we get the plastic down there first, I might even double thickness it and lay it on, and then we'll get it stapled into place, and then we'll put the tin sheets back on again after that, guys. The reason it took so long to get the sheets off in the first place was because I remember when we do a job, we do it right, and we put silicon over the top of each of the screws, and trying to peel that back off again to get the screwdriver into the screws. That took longer than actually taking the screws out and getting the sheets off, guys. But it is what it is. So it's taken me about 2.5 hours to get those 9 or 10 sheets back. But the good news is I'm just having a cup of coffee. I'm going to get back out. We're ready to start rolling the plastic, get that cut and stapled into place, and then we'll give you a quick look around. We'll give you a look in a view of the allotment from up on the roof as well. Might put some deck chairs up there this summer, and a bit of a beer garden. Right, I'm going to have this cup of coffee, guys, and I'll catch you later, and we'll give you a look what we're doing. Right, guys, so we're outside. We finally got the plastic cut. We rolled out a stretch of this, 16 feet. That's basically the area that I'm actually repairing on the roof. Even though there are only small patches at the back of the loft, I'm doing the entire roof. It makes sense. So we've cut that, and we've got all of these offcuts of tins, and these bits of tin sheet offcuts as well. And we still have some of the perspex, but as you can see, we've got holes in some of these where they've threw bricks on the top, and they've gone brittle and they've actually broke. So we have actually got the plastic on now and stapled into place, and that was quite a marathon on my own, but we've managed. So that's all stapled down now so the wind doesn't catch it. So we'll get up on the roof now. We're ready to start doing the sheets, and I'll give you a little look from up on the roof. Guys, we're up on the roof of the pigeon loft now, and as you can see, we've got this entire area covered. It's actually 9 feet. I said 8 feet in the garage, with the overhang, 6-inch overhang and 6-inch overhang at the back, it's actually 9 feet. That's why the 8-foot sheets didn't fit. So we had to put about a foot tucked under. And it's going to be a bit of a patchwork quilt, guys, but I'm going to have to make it work somehow. Hopefully it'll be done better this time than last time. It was a rush and we were pouring down rain. And as you can see, all the sheets are back there now. And you can see what we did. We done a tin sheet, then a perspex, tin sheet, perspex. Thankfully that end of the shed is still bone dry. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we're just going to crack on. But this is a view from up on top of the pigeon loft. Over in the garden area. And the views over the valleys is absolutely amazing. This is the reason why I chose this location to race the birds to when I used to race. So you're probably getting a bit of feedback on the wind there, guys. You can see the heat inside that polytunnel. This sun's beautiful. Wants to stay like this till Christmas and then get warm. Right guys, I'm going to have to crack on. I'll see you later. Right guys, it's 3:45 in the evening now. But as you can see, we've finally got all the sheets put back down. Now it's not the prettiest on the planet, but it's down nice and strong, plenty of screws in. And with that new membrane underneath that, hopefully that will cure it. I don't want to be coming back up here again in another 3 months and having to do this again, but hopefully we've got it sorted, guys. And we used more sheets, tin sheets this time where we could, and I've got 2 bits of plastic back here. We'll cut the good bits off and we'll fix that roof on the aviary over there with that, so it won't go to waste. Still got a few surplus offcuts of tin sheets, so we had enough in the end, guys. It's better to have more than enough than not enough. Right, I'll see you later, guys. As you can see, guys, our fence isn't doing much to keep the hens out at the moment, is it? Obviously we need to build these posts up and then get the wire on, but it just shows you they can fly. Right guys, I'm just in the shed having my final cup of coffee, as you can see. I am absolutely shattered. I really am. I didn't really think it was going to be as difficult as it was. And my back is going absolutely crazy. And it's 10 to 5 in the evening now. By the time I stacked all the offcuts of tin sheet away safe, gathered all the tools up, brought all the tools and put them away, put the ladders back in the garage. That was why you got the clip of the chicken sitting on the gate. I'd been over to the garage to put the ladders back in the garage. I am absolutely feeling it now, guys. I really am. Now that was a job I could have really done without having to do, and that's a full day, not wasted, but a full day gone, and all down to the fact of these stupid seagulls and crows. Yeah, it is what it is. It's done now. That's another jobbed. A really good jobbed, hopefully. All we can do now is let the air blow through the windows and hopefully dry that loft out. It'll take a while because it's absolutely soaked through the boards, which are 3/4 of an inch thick, the boards up on the roof. So it will take a bit of drying out, but yeah, we should stop any further rain getting in there now. Now, as I say, it was mainly at the back of the loft, and there were just patches here and there, but it was enough that we don't want it in the loft. It needs to be kept out. So we just completely covered the entire roof all over again with more plastic. Now the reason for the oddities on the roof as well was because, as I say, it was completely unexpected, and my son brought what tin sheets he had. They're all different lengths, and we had to just make it into a patchwork quilt just to get the roof covered. And to be honest, it served its purpose for almost 12 months. but somehow with the winds we've been getting and the rain getting in there somehow, and then of course the plastic sheets getting broke by cobbles being through over onto the top of the roof. Why they would do that, I don't know, they just do. That left holes in the plastic, in the plastic corrugated sheeting. The rain was literally driving in there, no problem, and so basically it was just finding its way through those holes again and soaking the roof. So we didn't have any plastic at the time and we couldn't do that. We had to make do and mend, as they say. Sorry today hasn't been a very fulfilling video. Hopefully the tips that I'm giving novices have been of some help. And hopefully the little bit of footage that you have seen, well, it's just something different, isn't it? I'm absolutely shattered. I'm not going to babble on any longer. We need to be up nice and early tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going for my vaccination at the COVID jab. I got a phone call yesterday evening telling me I need to go round to the doctor's surgery on Friday morning at 9 AM and get the vaccination jab. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow morning, guys. I have heard that it can make some people feel a bit groggy and yucky with sort of flu-like symptoms. I don't know how true this is. So depending on how I feel will depend on whether we get anything done tomorrow or not. We'll just wait and see how it goes. Some people get no symptoms whatsoever. So hopefully I'm the latter. But we'll see how it goes and we'll play it by ear. For now, guys, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.